Have you ever read something and then there's a word that you don't quite understand, or in your writing, but you don't quite use the right word to fit in your paragraph? Well, a dictionary and a thesaurus help us with that. A dictionary can help our writing by defining words that we don't know, or help us understand the definition when we're reading something and we don't know that word. And a thesaurus can help us improve our writing by providing synonyms that are more specific and more powerful, more, just fit better than a word we would normally choose. Okay, so when to use a dictionary? Well, we should use a dictionary for several reasons. First of all, is to learn the definition of that word. The first reason to use a dictionary would be to discover the most accurate meaning of an unknown word, especially when several meanings are provided. So this one is definitely one way that we would use the most. For example, the crane lowered its head to the water and scooped up small fish in its beak. Well, if we look up crane let's say we don't understand the word crane. Well, we look them up in the dictionary. One definition would be about a bird, but another would be about a piece of machinery used to lift a heavy object. Well, the context of the sentences help us understand that we need the bird definition. Okay, secondly, it's when we learn a word. It's when we are learning a word, part of a speech. Well, the second reason would be to find out the part of a speech. Like, it could be a noun or verb or, etc. So when we're, finding out the part of the speech of a word so that we can make sure that we are using it correctly. For example, he had a hard time getting to the point in his story. When we look up point in the dictionary, we will see the verb definition is to point something out, and the noun definition would be point, which is the main idea. And in the sentences, we know what we need. We need the noun definition because point is not being used as an action verb here. It is not used as an action word here. And thirdly is to learn how to pronounce a word. Well, the reason would be find out the pronunciation of a word. If we were let's say when we were writing a poem, for example, but we might need to know how a word sounds in order to pick a proper rhyming word. For example, those are the seed we wish to sow. For the word sow, there are two pronunciations. One sounds like the word sow, and it means to plant, which is the accurate definition in the context of the sentences. There is, however, another meaning of sow, which is a female pig, and it rhymes with a cow. So if we were writing a poem, we would need to know which pronunciation to use so that we would rhyme, or we're just trying to read something, correctly. Okay, what about thesaurus? Well, often we would use a definition to find out all these words and stuff, but a thesaurus would list synonyms. It would normally a dictionary would give us definition and how it sounds, but it did not give us synonyms. So that's what the thesaurus do. It gives us synonyms, which is a word or phrase that mean the same thing for another word or another phrase. Firstly, we can use it to find or understand meaning. Sometimes a thesaurus can function like a dictionary, and when we can look up an unknown word to find synonym that we do know as a way of understanding the meaning of the word. So let's say we have cleaving. She was cleaving a path through traffic with a crazy driving. Well, if we don't know what cleave means, so we look up the word cleave in the thesaurus, and we would find a synonym is split, which is more accessible word that help us make sense of the sentences. So let's say we understand another word, but then we see another word, we don't know it. So let's check it out and see some synonym. And there are some that we understand, so we would understand what cleaving mean here. Secondly is to pick a more precise word. Now usually we would use a thesaurus when we want to pick a more precise word to fit in our writing. But if we want to strengthen our writing, then we can find word in the thesaurus to replace weak or overused word with word that are more specific and powerful. So this one would be the reason why people would use thesaurus, So let's say he felt bad when he learned that he had accidentally insulted the new student with his joke. Well, there are many synonyms for bad because it is a weak word. Then we look at the context of the rest of the sentences. We know that the reason did not mean to insult the new. We know that the person did not mean to insult the new student. So regretful would be a more specific, powerful word to use. So it's just fit more perfectly in the sentences. So, next time, maybe you go to the library to check out some word. Maybe you would understand now what is the difference between dictionary and thesaurus to use it more correctly. Thank you for coming and have a great day.